Hey guys, so I'm gonna just give you guys a quick update on the stock market. Today, Wednesday of June 24th, was actually a very bad day for the stock market. Not that bad. I mean, it's pretty bad, but not that bad. We've seen worse. But anyways, what's happening? Spikes in COVID cases are increasing, so people are freaking out. Um, but what's but I think the reason why people are freaking out is because it's reaching cases like it was in the very beginning, and people are very afraid of how the governors are going to react and stuff like that. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you something that happened very similarly in 1918. It was called the Spanish flu, right? So it says right here. Let's smooth to my other screen. Okay, so the 2020 stock market crash occurred as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, which is the most impactful pandemic since the flu pandemic of 1918, Spanish flu. Okay, so what happened during the Spanish flu, right? Well, in the United States, it was first identified in military personnel in the spring of 1918. It is estimated that about 500 million people, or 1/3 of the world's population, became infected with the virus. The number of deaths was estimated to be at least 50 million worldwide, with about 675,000 cases occurring in the United States, right? Deaths. 675,000 deaths in the United States. Okay, so what was the Spanish flu and how did people react to it? Okay, so how did the US cities try to stop the 1918 flu pandemic? Okay, so it hit shores in the summer of 1918. They were infected, especially in densely crowded cities. As you can see, that's happening in New York City, Florida, Miami, LA. They're very dense populations. So obviously there's going to be a lot more touching. People are going to be coughing on each other. It's going to be very contagious. Without a vaccine or approved treatment plan, it fell to local mayors and health officials to improvise plans to safeguard the safety of their citizens. Sound familiar? With pressure to appear patriotic at wartime. Oh yeah, side note. This was actually happening during World War I. So yeah, patriotic at wartime, and with a censored media downplaying the disease's spread, many made tragic decisions. So that happened a lot. Similarly, that's happening now. The only difference is that now the media is kind of portraying it as like, whoa, it's a big deal. So anyways, Philadelphia's response was a little too late. They actually still had charities. People got reinfected. So eventually schools and movie theaters closed and public gatherings were banned. Consequently, the peak mortality rate in St. Louis was just 1/8 of Philadelphia's death rate. Okay, so it's a lot. It's a big, right? Citizens in San Francisco were fined $5, and which was a significant amount at the time. And they were caught without a public, they were caught in public without masks and charged with disturbing the peace. Sounds very familiar, right? So what ended the Spanish flu, right? Oh my gosh, how are we going to end this? Well, it wasn't a vaccine, actually. It just kind of went away. So by the summer of 1919, which is a year later, the flu pandemic came to an end as those that were infected either died or developed immunity. Okay, so that's what I assume what's probably going to happen here in the United States as well. It's probably going to increase to a very large amount, maybe about, I don't think it's going to be that much, but maybe like 1/3 of the population. Hopefully it's less than that. At least they're going to get infected. A lot of people aren't actually getting tested. So a lot of people think, oh my gosh, you have a lot of people in the United States that are infected. Well, it's probably a lot more than that. It's just the fact that we have a lot of testing going on. The U.S. is very good at it. We're a very developed nation, and we have now access to commercially viable tests for the COVID. Whereas back in the day, Spanish flu, you really didn't get tested. People just died. And they were like, oh, well, it's probably Spanish flu. So anyways, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, how did that hit the stock market? Because that's where I'm at, bro. That's where I'm here. That's why I came for this video. 4 minutes in, you haven't started talking about that? Sorry. So we're going to move on to the Dow Jones, right? So it hits about mid 1918. But if you see here, it goes down, right? It's like, oh wow, but like it's not that bad. I would think that it would hit a lot more like the COVID situation did, right? Well, it was actually already low. So the reason why the stock market actually was low is because we actually went to war. World War One starts, right? But also because of something even more important, which is the discount rate. People don't realize this, but this is probably the most influential thing that happens in the US economy, right? So around late 1917, you see, late 1917, stock market crashes like crazy, right? And it wasn't because of the wartime, it was because of that bam. So anyways, you look here, it starts increasing, right? It keeps increasing, right? So Spanish flu happens right around this time. And as you see, it's not really going down that much. Suddenly it starts increasing. The stock market starts increasing. It's like, whoa, dude, it's killing it. We're going back up, right? And then suddenly, bam, it goes down again. What happened? Well, late 1919, something happens. Again, the discount rate. Late 1919, it starts increasing again. And what does that signal to the economy? The stock market? Oh, damn, no. So what happens finally here in late 1921? Why does it start increasing the stock market again? As you see, late 1921, the discount rate goes down again. So COVID was probably the reason. I mean, it wasn't probably. It was the reason why the stock market crashed, but it's not the reason why it's going to go down. There's already that correction, very huge correction. I see it going up, like it went down, and then it's going up, and people are thinking that it's going to go down crazy, like the real shit's going to go down, man. You're going to see it. No, I think it's actually going to maybe go down a little bit, and then it's going to go up because the correction was already so dramatic. So anyways, it even says here, what was the cause of the crash? And it says right here, in November 1919, following 6 months of rapidly expanding business, as I said, the Federal Reserve banks increased the rediscount rates slightly. The change in rates was significant not in itself, but because it indicated a change of Federal Reserve policy. The only immediate effect of the rates was a break in security prices, a break inaugurating a bear market, which was to continue through 1920 and the first half of 1921. So it was actually a discount rate, not Spanish flu. Here's an example. This is a good little video.
However, the Fed may lower the discount rate to boost the money supply, thereby making it cheaper for commercial banks to borrow money, which helps stabilize the broader economy. It may also change.
So it helps stabilize the economy when they lower the discount rate. So they actually went the other way. They increased the discount rate during this pandemic. So these guys are stupid. Well, their Federal Reserve was kind of dumb. I mean, you know, it's government. What can you expect? So anyways, it even says right here, the Depression of 1920 to 1921. What also happened? Well, one, it was because they started increasing the discount rate, but also something else happened, and that was called deflation. So deflation happens, usually it happens when there's too much unemployment. So if you actually see around getting around to the end of 1919, we started getting out of World War One. We won the war. Woo! So a ton of personnel were coming back from fighting the war. So what happened was now we had a huge increase in the working force, a lot of unemployment. So we were in an economy where we were building a lot of military equipment, stuff like that. And now we're trying to transition to an economy, so a normal peacetime economy. And it even says right here, which created a surge in the civilian labor force and problems in absorbing the veterans. So there was a problem in absorbing them because now you have this huge workforce. And what happens is when you have a large workforce that isn't working, your dollar increases in value, the US dollar, and that's known as deflation. So when your US dollar decreases, it's called inflation. And so inflation is actually really great, but I mean, checked inflation, if you have hyperinflation, that's also bad. But checked inflation, like 1 to 2% is good. When you have deflation at this level, it's really bad because instead of Americans wanting to spend the US dollar, what they're going to end up wanting to do is they're going to want to save the US dollar. And an economy requires a lot of this going on, you know what I'm saying? It needs spending. People need to spend their money, and because people weren't spending money, deflation happened, and so that also hurt the economy. So we're going to look at a little history. It says right here, the Fed's discount rate increases in 1919, 1920 were widely publicized. Its actions were understood to raise money markets rates deliberately, so they did it on purpose. And the Fed's high interest rate policy was suspected to have caused the deflation and recession of 1920 to 1921. What dicks. So anyways, now we're going back to COVID. How did this happen, right? So we are way above, we are a lot of cases in the United States. So let's see. The United States, oh, sorry, this is total. So if you look at the United States, we are okay. So if you look at the United States, we are at 2.4 million active cases. Or sorry, total cases. Okay, we look at the United States, we're at 2.4 total cases. Fatal cases, we have about 123,000. So we're nowhere near the levels we were at the Spanish flu. They were at 675,000 fatal cases. Here we're at 123. We still got a ways to go. Unless we get like a cure or something. I don't see it happening anytime soon. Hopefully it does, but maybe hopefully in a couple months, maybe a month, but I don't see that happening. That's why I don't think the stock market is going to crash. Like, at least not that much more. It might go down a little bit, but right now we're in a fire sale, dude. Like, right now is the time to buy or hold, but mostly buy. So anyways, if you want to see this cool little thing, you can actually go, you push this little timeline, and you can actually see how it increases. It's not fun. It's kind of messed up. But as you see right here, February 20, bam, that's actually when the stock market crashes like crazy. See the total confirmed cases starts increasing, but you can do that on your own time. Just go to Bing. I'll leave the links in the description below of everything I'm showing you. So anyways, as you see, the reason why I also telling you I don't think it's going to go down like back in the day was because we have a lot of governors and stuff. Abbott's really known. He's the most prominent, at least at the moment. Maybe it's just because I live in Texas. I don't know. But anyway, it says here, the coronavirus is spiking in more than a dozen states and intensive care beds are filling again, but several governors have no plans to reimpose shutdown measures or pause reopenings, a sign that the political will to take drastic measures has dissipated even as the virus is still raging. They also recently came out, I think like 2 days ago, Greg Abbott even said that closing the state would be like a last resort. I don't think that's going to happen. If you see this video, there's actually this guy who came out a few days ago where Cinemark actually opened up and they've already imposed a bunch of stuff that they're doing. So you see the video.
Is the ticket buying experience. Now whenever you buy a seat, you automatically cancel out anyone else from purchasing the 2 seats next to you. I know a lot of people wondered how movie theaters were going to do this, where they were just going to sell every other seat. Well, no, it all depends on the size of your party. So just for my situation, I'm 2 people. But if I was a party of 4 or a party of 6, I have the option to do that while still limiting the other percentage of people who get thrown into the audience. So
that's a good example of how Cinemark and other businesses are trying to incorporate policies so that they can still run a business. And so, I mean, I know even the now it's required that you have a face mask and there's fines. And I know there are some counties that are doing curfews and stuff, but I don't see us shutting down. And as the economy, if you have the elite economy going, that's what matters. Final point. It says right here, as remember how we were increasing the discount rate, the Federal Reserve? Well, if you see right here on April 30th, in effect, it actually went down from 0.25% down to 0.10%. So it actually decreased, right? So that actually tells the economy, hey, we want you to spend money. So that's what the economy's gonna do. If you actually notice, you can actually get like a mortgage for like crazy cheap right now. It's like 2 point something percent, 3%. And the reasoning behind, and that's what I think is gonna like really push the economy, and the stock market is gonna go crazy. That's the reason why if you've been looking at the stock market, it's been going up, and people are like, oh, it doesn't make sense. Like the economy is crap because people aren't even spending money and companies are losing money. And it's like, yes, that's true, but you have to understand the stock market is a long-term game. It's not a short-term game. So people think long-term when they do the stock market. They look at future gains, not like tomorrow gains. You know what I mean? So anyways, that's why I believe the stock market update is going to go crazy up soon. I don't know what time. I can tell you it'll be tomorrow. It might go down tomorrow a little bit. It might go crazy down tomorrow. I don't know. I don't think it's going to go down. I think maybe a few more percent points. And it's going to go like a rocket ship. Bam. And if you don't buy, well, that's on you, bro. I can't tell you. And the bottom, I have some codes for you to check out if you want free stocks. And hopefully you like this video. Sorry it was really long. If you didn't like it, my bad. If you like this little bit of history stuff, let me know. If you don't, well, whatever, dude. Sorry. I mean, I can only do so much. So see you in the next one. See you guys.